Om, Jai Jhulelal. Thank you everyone for joining us today for a very, very special session. I'd like you all to join me to welcome Sushma Zahira Gidwani on the show today. She is an intuitive healer, high performance life coach, and childhood trauma specialist with 15 years' experience in transformative therapy, personal development, and meditation. Sushma is exceptionally skilled and qualified. She has an impressive academic, holistic, and professional qualification, as well as an expanding and consciously committed clientele. Sushma has served thousands of clients through personal one on one sessions and workshops, online and in person, at numerous holistic and meditation centers worldwide and across a vast range of cultures and conditionings. She is a postgraduate in law and has certifications in addiction intervention, trauma and abuse, gestalt therapy healing, family constellations, past life regression, hypnotherapy, angel ascended masters, and cosmic ray therapy, which honestly I've never heard of before. That's amazing. Soul psychology, womb healing with an emphasis on miscarriages and abortions, inner child healing, Reiki, Zen counseling, and the list goes on. So I would like to welcome Dadu Zen, to welcome Sushma. Om Dada, Jai Jhulelal.
Jai Jhulelal, Urvashi, thank you for the lovely introduction. Where is our guest of honor? She's not on the screen?
Hi,
There you are. Got you.
evening.
Pushpa, namaskaram to you and namaskar to all of you.
Namaskaram. Thank you
Uh,
so much for having me on the show and for your very sorry,
thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. I would like to extend you a psychic welcome. So I normally start off the show with a Kabir couplet, in this book. So I'll ask you the page number which comes to your psychic mind, and I'll open it, and whatever the message is will be for you and for our viewers. So go for it. Tell me the number that comes to your mind. Up to
43.
300, huh?
43.
43, okay. Let's see what we have. 43, 43, 43. 43 is on devotion to the Lord. So there are two here, but I'll pick one. Sahib says, पक्का पक्षी के कारणे सब जग रहा बुलन means forgets, सब जग रहा बुलन, निरपक होए के हरि भजे सोय संत सुजन. So what does it mean? It means people of this world are divided in several paths and panth jeke hain. The world is in delusion and it remains. But the devotee of the Lord, impartial, is a saint without any stains. So this is what Sahib is trying to say, that Sahib contends here that the entire world is in a state of delusion due to the differences and division of people based on religious status and religious beliefs. And this he has spoken hundreds of years ago. And a true devotee of the Lord is actually a saint without any stains and beyond all religious partialities. That is the true meaning of this devotional couplet. So this is for you and for all the viewers. So without much ado, I'll start with our program, and I'm sure everybody is anxious to understand what it is all about. So I'll ask you first is, can you talk about what is womb healing all about, and is there any special timing in the 9 months that you have to go for it, or how does it go? Just give us a brief introduction into this.
Okay, so let me so womb healing is actually it's a white tantra practice which clears the womb of residue. Okay, so what is a white tantra practice? A white tantra practice is a practice that you do with yourself. So it's a
Hmm.
spiritual practice that you do with yourself, or you have someone guide you through it. Okay, so what's so special about the womb? So the womb is able to bring, it's able to transform matter into spirit. It's the only thing actually in this existence that could take two cells and those two physical cells become a human being, right? So there's some magic in the womb that can that can ground spirit here. And actually, that is the potency of the womb, and that's the power of the womb. But women haven't been educated about that. It's kind of this hidden secret. And the womb is full of past holding. So the womb is like a sponge. It absorbs everything. So the womb it has imprints. So the womb has imprints from all its past lovers. It has imprints from birthing trauma. It has imprints from any time that it's been entered without love. It also has imprints from abortions and miscarriages. So if the womb is got manifestation potential at its core and it's full of all this holding, then what do we manifest? We basically manifest unhealed trauma. So what does womb healing do? Womb healing gives a woman access to heal and clean her womb. And by cleaning the womb, she can then have her womb be sovereign again, and she can get in touch with its innate power and its creative energy and its natural force and create from there. You know, in this, there's a lot of connection with the heart as we explore the spiritual journey, right? There's a lot about opening the heart and healing the heart and connecting with the heart. And the heart is a very, very important part of the spiritual journey. However, one of the grounding spaces for a woman is her womb. And there's actually something called a womb consciousness. So, because I've had,
Can I interrupt you on that?
absolutely,
When you say womb would entail that fetus is there, right? You're not going to treat a womb without a fetus.
I'm
Is a
100%
fetus?
going to do that. And
Huh?
so I'm 100% going to do that. So I would recommend a woman come to me before she has a baby because she has holding in the womb that's going to affect the baby.
So it's her womb has manifestation of her problems. So her
Yes,
womb is
every
weak
woman, every
because of
woman,
her weaknesses or her negativity.
or
Is it?
whatever she inherited, or whatever hurt she's been exposed to
Okay,
that she's
so that
overworked.
means if her womb, what you're trying to say that what's in the mind is in the womb. In short, the mind
Uh,
affects the womb, according to
I,
your theory.
well, yes, it does. So holding in the womb will affect clarity of mind because things get stored here. If a woman is full of repressed emotions and shame and secrets, which is actually so there's a difference. So I want to explain something. Like every healing modality kind of creates a point of access. Okay, it gives an access to looking at a certain thing in a different way, and that looking at it that way shifts something that can create healing or integration, like a general overview. Okay, so when we work with the womb, it's like what I've noticed is when I work through womb healing, where I end up in the psyche of a woman is very different to, for example, if I entered through hypnotherapy. For example, if I go through hypnotherapy, what I'm likely to come across when I'm looking for the root of an issue is something that happened to the child between 0 to 8 that's not integrated. Okay? When I look from the womb consciousness, I'll find something related to the woman's womanhood. I'll
Okay.
find something related to something maybe related to shame or related to some block that
There is a
others
confusion
have.
here.
Yes,
There's a confusion here in my mind. Let's, for the sake of understanding, in simple words to the people, first is cleansing of the womb. Okay,
yes,
irrespective of the birth. That's
yes,
number one.
yes.
So, the womb is a repository of the person's mental health in one way that you're trying to say. That womb is uh, a manifestation of what is inside the head, right?
Kind of. Well, it's what's
Because
inside the
otherwise,
body,
how can a
but it's
womb get
what's inside the
affected?
body. It's
How can a womb get affected if you're not thinking that way? Because everything is mind, right?
well, okay, so I'm going to challenge you, not for a woman. For a woman, her center is her womb and her heart.
And
That's
not
what
the mind.
the mind is part of the whole so we are wholesome beings, right? We have mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. Those are 4 levels on which we operate. So I don't want to ignore them. I'm just saying, where does a woman connect most accurately and powerfully with herself? Like, first place of grounding is heart and womb. And in my workshops, I literally work with women to reconnect them with their heart and their womb because they're not connected there. And there is a wisdom that comes through when we kind of connect that port,
So
which
that means,
grounds a woman in a very new way.
so
She
that
gets
means
back to her own. Yeah.
if the womb is ineffective or it's what you call maligned in any way, then the child, the fetus that is coming into the womb or is born in the womb, gets affected by such negativity. Is that right?
So, yes. So, when so there's 2 types of womb healing. Okay. So we're talking about when we're dealing with the actual womb of a woman, right? And what she's absorbed. But say, for example, I get a client who comes to me with an issue, okay? And when I regress this client, that this client goes back to when they are in the womb. That's a different type of womb healing because wounding can occur at any point that the soul takes kind of birth. So even in the womb, any belief systems or any negativity, like say, for example, a mother is not ready for the baby can already develop a belief system, I'm not wanted, and then can live that paradigm out their whole life. Like attract relationships where they're not wanted, have an experience of not being wanted. So what the mother is feeling, doing, thinking, breathing, experiencing immediately affects the child, immediately affects the soul. So womb healing is like we can heal, we can work with the child once the child is in the womb to ground the child. That's one thing that can be done. But even before then, I recommend women do a cleaning. All women do a cleaning to clean the womb of whatever's stuck there or held there.
So, what kind of healing are you talking about? Physical, mental, or what? I mean,
So,
I'm talking in terms of fetus now. If the fetus is defective, or how do you do that? I mean, what kind of healing do you offer?
so,
Physical or mental?
healing is always wholesome. Okay, and
Hmm.
womb healing techniques, it combines a bunch of different techniques. So there's, if you're asking what a session looks like or what a healing session looks like, then there'll be a mixture of cognitive therapy, breath work, regression, visualization. There's different family constellations. There's different things to do in a session depending on what comes up. So generally, say someone comes to me and they would explain to me whatever their issue is, okay? Or whatever they're experiencing, then I would use the womb as an access point using some breath work and movement actually to get them into a deeper state of access and
Hmm.
then open up and see what's there. Then the womb would guide me to some breakdown that happened somewhere that would
Oh,
require some cleaning. So, what are the benefits of womb healing? They actually differ according to what the person's dealing with. So the what I can tell you is that the womb holds a few things, okay, that require cleaning. So it holds numbness, it holds shame, and it holds secrets.
holds what?
And it holds shame and secrets.
Secrets.
Yes, and shame and secrets are very insidious
Hmm.
because they really they can be very destructive to a psyche.
Hmm.
So womb healing allows us to go in and clean the stuff that doesn't end up getting cleaned, and the cleaning of which restores the manifestation power of the womb, which is very, very juicy. Because once you clean it, then you can use it to manifest. And then
Interesting.
once you've done that at more advanced levels, we can learn how to start to bring that energy up from the womb, up into the heart, and up into the pineal, and then use the womb energy to enlighten ourselves. So it's very, very powerful and it has many, many stages to it.
You're
But
quite
every
passionate about this, huh?
I am because
Quite
I'm not
passionate.
I mean, I have used my
How
this
long did you get? Since how long have you been involved, and how long have you really practiced in with this enthusiasm?
well, like much of my spiritual journey, I learned things as I needed to either heal myself or realize something was missing somewhere. I didn't know how to solve a specific problem. So, when in about 2014, I went to China and I was leading large workshops and retreats for women over there. And at that time, I came across a lot of women that had had a lot of abortions.
Hmm.
So I've had clients that have had 9 or 10 abortions.
Hmm.
Now, because of the one child policy and because I realized many of them had not been educated well in contraception. So they used abortions as contraception. And once I started to apply the womb healing on them, it's like I opened this insane Pandora's box because these women, they've had so many abortions. So then I had the chance to actually do the work and clean up one abortion after the other and see the impact as I move through the healing. And I noticed many things and I understood many things from doing that work. So, I mean, in the years I've been in China, I can't even explain how many abortions I've healed. We're looking at hundreds. I don't even know how many, right? So every time there's an abortion, something gets created that's called an inner child, which is something breaks in the psyche. There's also there's also a breakdown that happens in the relationship between the man and the wife. Because when a seed is not received and like removed from a womb, it's a rejection of that man. So if a woman chooses to stay with a man after she's had an abortion, then it's like energetically, actually, the relationship is already ended. And if a woman has many abortions over time, which I saw in China with the same man, the relationship eventually ends up in complete breakdown. So what was needed was many different stages of healing, like healing the relationship between the man and the woman that broke down, releasing the soul that was not able to take full birth, and then also releasing whatever beliefs or issues have come up for the mother around motherhood. And then there's the trauma and the guilt of having destroyed a soul. Every time a woman destroys a soul, it doesn't allow a soul to take birth. It's like the guilt inside. It's a very painful, and it needs some room for expression. Because what I've seen is when that gets trapped inside, it's like there's this deadness that starts to happen with the woman. So she's carrying this guilt. So that needs space. It needs to be released.
Interesting. So, uh, you told me so many things that I really have to absorb all these new factors in my thinking process, because I never knew that the womb plays such an important, vital part in birth of a baby prior to you know its inception or conception.
I mean,
Now,
I looked a bit deeper actually at considering when this therapy is a good time to do. And I did come up with some specific times given what I now understand it's useful for. So, signs, so I wrote a list of signs to show you if you could benefit from a womb healing. So, if you have feelings of shame, numbness, or pain, if you don't enjoy lovemaking, if you experience scattered thinking, have looping experiences or memories, have difficulty getting over an ex, fears, insecurities, or overwhelming emotions, or painful push and pull dynamics with your sexual partner, you could benefit from a womb healing. Okay? A good time for a womb healing is before pregnancy. During is fine too because I can support to ground the baby. Straight after an abortion or a miscarriage is a good time. After a breakup, divorce, or separation, so that you can clear the cords with with whatever you're letting go of. And also, if any woman has an unpleasant or unwanted sexual experience, it's also very important to do a clearing then.
it's quite a holistic approach.
Yes.
So, can you describe any interesting case of womb healing that you've done?
Well, the one that I was describing is the one that I did. So, womb healing as a modality is already interesting because the point of access that we get in from is it touches on all the women, all the way a woman has been wounded in her womanhood. So the cases that I've dealt with womb healing, it's like the secrets that she can't tell, that's what comes out also. So one side is the abortion and the miscarriages and the impact it has on the family system and the relationships. The other side is the secrets and the shame and how that affects a woman. So another thing that I provide for women is that safe, conscious, witnessing presence that can dissolve the secrets. Because when we can dissolve the secrets, we start to clean out the shame. And when we can clean out the shame, then we can come back to our true essence.
Can you elaborate on one subject that you mentioned is that if a woman has an abortion, then it affects her marital life and her love for her husband or something to that effect, you are saying, right? How does that?
Be-
Because if it is mutually decided, then where is the problem?
It's on the subconscious level. So our
No.
conscious
How does
mind,
a man get,
our,
how does
our
a man get affected by that?
I understand what you mean. So it's about, so our conscious mind is 10%, right, of the mind. So when we decide as a partnership, okay, that we are going to do this together, one person's conscious mind, 10% of the mind, decides with the other person's conscious mind, and then they make a decision, right?
Hmm.
But we're not only the conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind.
Hmm.
So the subconscious gets impacted by the movement. It's like it's actually removed from the womb. So there's an energetic rejection.
Hmm.
So it's not about the conscious decision. It's that the healing needs to be done on the inner world. In the inner world, peace needs to be made inside over what has happened. Because actually,
But
the wound is
if you have
deep.
consciously decided and mutually decided, why should the subconscious mind go against it?
So, what, okay, it's not that the subconscious mind is going against it, it's what I've seen in the therapy. So, I can only tell you what I've seen, right? I don't know the truth about anything. So, I can tell you when I work with people, there's a breakdown there. That even though they have decided for whatever practical reason, there's a breakdown in the relationship. And I'm explaining why. It's because of that energetic movement of removing it, even though choice was involved. Because something in nature had it occur, right? Then we
So
have, so everything has been removed.
when you're healing, do you get to discuss with a husband or a partner or no? Or only
I,
the woman?
I normally only work with the woman, but we do inner work and we do some hypnodrama and we do some visualization and family constellation to fix it. So even though the husband is not there, in the work with the woman, I can already start to work on that and fix that.
So how long are your sessions?
My sessions are generally 90 90 minutes to 2 hours. That's
And
because
how long, I mean, how many sessions does a person have to take to
I would say one session to start, and in one session, sometimes sometimes it's like in one session I can see what the issue is. So then it can need two or three. So I would say a complete thorough womb healing might need 3 sessions,
3 sessions? And
maybe.
and what is your success rate according to you?
Well,
And
it
how do you
depends.
measure success?
Exactly. Well, it depends on how you measure success, right? So
Hmm.
I would say that my sessions are 100% effective in shifting perspective, in identifying and healing root issues and cleansing. So in that they are 100% effective. Okay? But a potency and effectiveness of a session is also dependent on the person getting the session and their intentionality and where they want to how they want to use that session for their growth. So it also depends on how a person participates in the work, right? So the way that we can measure the success of a womb healing session is like post it, you experience clear-headedness. Okay, it can release
Acceptability.
depression. It can release depression and paranoia. A woman will experience more emotional groundedness, stability, and independence. There is an ability to release unhealthy and toxic old attachments and to also experience increased pleasure, positive emotions, and the ability to relax in a more yin way. Because after womb healing, a woman becomes more grounded in her womb. So she becomes more yin. She becomes filled with more radiance. She gets more glow. She's more connected to her womb, which means she can use her womb to manifest. So then she becomes more womb manifestation oriented because she gets in touch with her power. She calls her power back to herself. And once she calls her power back to herself, she then has sexual sovereignty. And then she can navigate her sexuality in a healthy and harmonious way. And when a woman can do that, everything changes because she is the nucleus of a family system.
That I agree. So that leaves me two questions before I give the floor to Urvashi. What kind of techniques are you willing to talk about your techniques in a nutshell? Mostly it would be I mean, something like hypnotherapy or suggestive things, right? What kind of techniques are you involving in this 90 minutes? Can you just give a casual?
So I'll first do cognitive therapy. So cognitive therapy is to understand from the client how they perceive what is going on with them. So the first thing I'll do is listen deeply. Just listen and get how it is for them and get a certain keys of, I mean, I'll ask pointed questions to get maybe some key dates to find some points of breakdown. I might do at this point a little bit of very quick breath work, quick regression to find some key points of where their breakdowns or their root issues can be. Okay, that's how I would start. Maybe I would spend 15, 20 minutes just talking to a client.
Are these questions regular questions for all which you employ?
They
Is
would,
this format?
I'm very intuitive. So
Oh,
I channel a lot of my guidance. So I can tell, for example, if someone's saying something and they mean something else, I can kind of tell.
hmm.
So so and often a woman will come with one problem, and when we do the session, we find something else is the root of it. So it's not that we're ignorant or in denial. It's just that the conscious mind really experiences something as the issue, and that's what it is, and that's what they'll tell me. But when I look, it's not that most of the time. Something much deeper is happening that's affecting. So then once I've done the cognitive work, I'll actually get the woman down on a mat or lying down, and we'll do some breath work and guided techniques so that I can actually flush her womb with the energy of the Divine Mother. And I do certain techniques to start to clean
Very
the womb
impressive.
and have her start to
Very
experience
impressive.
the power of her womb. Yes.
That leaves me one last question with
But finish
womb
what I've been
healing,
doing in 90 minutes. But
giving
okay,
the
keep going.
giving the power of womb cleaning or cleansing to the woman, that she can navigate her own sexuality in her own terms. What you have to say for men then? What do men have to do?
Well, this is the beauty, right? Because when a woman starts to okay. So once a woman is like clean her womb and got grounded in the ability to use it, how it was divinely great given to her, which is as a tool of manifestation, then there are certain techniques, as I explained earlier, to bring the energy up and then to circulate the energy with a partner. And then to use that energy in a vortex to co create and manifest together. So that's how we start to then bring the romantic and the coupling union together in a more divine Shiva Shakti, energetic, grounded way.
Do you know that you are the one who gave a testimonial for my book? One of the best testimonial you gave for my book, Celestial Secrets of Sexuality.
Yes,
Do you
because I
remember
have
that?
my own I understand where
It
you're
talks
coming from.
all these things in detail, what you're talking, but you're given something new also to uh, mull about. So, with such these thoughts, I will request Urvashi to see she's a woman and she might be able to connect better with you in regarding to womb healing. Urvashi, can you do you have any doubts or questions on
Yeah, it was
this?
really,
I'd like to
really
hear your point of view.
interesting. Very interesting to hear this. And so, I mean, what I'm understanding is that, your work is more to do with the younger women who are going through, who are going to go through pregnancy and motherhood. But what would you say to someone like an older woman? I mean, is there any need for womb healing once you're past your childbearing years or so?
Every woman needs a womb healing. We all have stuff in there. We have repressed emotions. We have the energy of lovers. We have birthing trauma. So every woman is carrying imprints in there. And I absolutely did not want to communicate that it's only for younger women.
No,
Because
no,
you
you did
see,
actually. Yeah,
yeah,
but
the thing
yeah,
is that when the womb is full, it's like we are full. And some of it is full of toxicity, some of it is full of stuff we don't need. So emptying and offloading that thing gives some space for something else, right? It gives some space. And once we start doing this work, we clean. So we fill the womb with divine light. When we fill the womb with divine light, it gets to connect with itself. And
that's
then
really nice. Yeah.
and then we can connect with our divinity and birth from our divinity. Then a woman, she glows a different way because she's sourced by something else.
Right. But like we don't, I don't know of any womb healer over here. I mean, I haven't even heard of a womb healer, honestly, till I heard about you. So, is it that the demand, I mean, the supply is much less than the demand,
I
or
think there's very few of me.
yeah,
It's
and you're
I,
saying
I,
that
lit-
everyone needs
I
womb
literally got
healing,
trained in response to a problem, right? I saw
right?
a problem. I saw, oh, these women are wounded. These women are experiencing issues in their sexual relationships that's really affecting their ability to be happy. And when I started doing this work with women, in 3 days they were so much happier.
And this is a
Because
different, like a varied age group, not just younger. I mean,
yes,
20s
because we
and
all have wombs and we've all got stuff in there. And it's all the stuff we don't talk about. We don't think about. Often when I do womb healing, the woman has forgotten the memory. It's too painful. It's
right,
repressed in the psyche. She doesn't remember it. Then the minute the memory comes up, there's like catharsis. Immediately. There's just like buckets of tears. That's why I would be so shocked in the sessions. Because I'm like, this is what is being repressed. I just open the memory and all the tears. So all those tears are stuck in the body, not released. In 10, 15 years, what do they become? Illness, cancer.
I see. So
So
maybe
are
we
you
need to
trying to
start
say
training more people.
if the womb healing is done, then automatically the relationship between man and wife is taken to a different uh, quantum or a better voltage system. So we,
100%.
so we men don't have to do anything to clean ourselves, is it?
Well, I wouldn't say, but let's do a different show on that one.
We need to have some healing also
100%.
to prepare ourselves for a proper married life, right?
Yeah, what
And
would
it's
be the equivalent for a
and
man?
but see, there's work that women need to do to move themselves from being girls to women, right? For example, a girl competes, a woman empowers. That's the difference, right?
Say that
If
again.
a girl, for example, will compete with another woman,
Hmm.
right? So girls compete, but a woman empowers. So there's certain work we all need to do to move from being a girl to a woman and a boy to a man.
Very interesting. So,
What
do you?
kind?
That leads me to one question. So, a person whose womb is not so good or ideal, then such uh, women who have this problem uh, are vulnerable to divorce or separations or misunderstandings with a partner.
Look, we're all responsible for what we create from what we have.
Hmm.
So if we've developed some things in our womb, we are responsible also to go and see what's up with that and clean it to the best of our ability, right? I don't think what you say is true because say a woman has some sort of issue with her partner and her partner work together as a team to find some resolution. That doesn't mean that that partnership's going to end in divorce. That partnership could become closer. So it's
Hmm.
really about what we do with our experiences that determines where we end up with them. So
Hmm.
it's not necessarily that way. See, I don't like to promise miracles, but actually that is my business. That's
Hmm.
actually the truth. Because when I started doing this work, I didn't expect some of the results that happened. Later, I would hear when I go back to China, oh, you know, that woman, she conceived. Oh, you know, da, da, da. And I would hear along the grapevine the breakthroughs the women were having with the work that I was doing. Because the thing is, you don't know as a healer, right? You learn and then you channel and then you give your client whatever you're guided to and whatever you can in the moment. And you 100% will create a shift. But long term, what happens with a client is dependent on many different things, also on them, right? But
Okay.
what I've seen with this work is that I would hear of a lot of breakthroughs and surprising outcomes with women that ended up doing womb healing with me.
So I think now we have taken good time and interesting issues have been taken. It's time for now us to start with conscious parenting. So Rashi,
Sure.
you're on. Please go ahead and
So,
ask. I'll take a break.
Okay, okay. So,
Go ahead.
first question would be if you could explain the term conscious parenting. What do you mean by
I'll
it?
see you later.
Okay, Dada.
so, conscious parenting is understanding that the way you parent your child will eventually be
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Is it a problem with my connection? I'm not sure. Are others on the show able to hear Sushma? If you could, sorry. Sorry for this. Sushma is probably going to join back. Please stay on and we'll fix this in a minute. Hariom Pradeep ji, could you let us know what's happening? Hi. So you're on mute. Can you unmute? Not able to hear you. Is Sushma frozen or is that me who's frozen? Sorry. Sushma, I cannot hear you. Can you unmute? Yeah. All right, she's gone again. Hopefully she'll be back soon. Thank you for your patience. And it was very interesting to hear about the womb healing. I just wonder why there are such few womb healers. And I was going to tell Sushma that she should train some of us to do this in our own countries. Maybe we can help a lot of women that way. Sorry for this interruption. Should we spend our time doing some Om chanting? Let's all close our eyes and take a few deep breaths. I can't close my eyes. I have to look out for Sushma, but maybe you all can. Just observe your breath a few moments. Become aware of each breath going in and out of the body. Let's chant Om a few times, taking a deep breath in. Welcome back, Sushma.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear
I'm
you.
so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Okay, no problem. I hope our audience was very patient for sure.
Thank you
So,
so
thank you very
much.
much, audience. Okay, so you were trying to explain to us the phrase conscious parenting. If you could start again.
Okay, so conscious parenting is understanding that the way you parent your child will eventually be internalized by them. So the way you parent them, they're going to internalize it and they're going to treat themselves and other people in their lives the same way. Because being a parent is like, it's like you've taken a copy machine and you duplicate yourself. So right from being in the womb to 7 or 8 years of age, a child is completely being programmed by the behaviors, belief systems of its parents, caregivers, and its environment. So, whatever your approach is about love, life, money, what's possible in life, basically everything is exactly what your child is going to take on. So, being a conscious parent is being mindful of and being aware that the way you treat your child and the way you parent your child is going to be the voice that speaks to your child in their head when they're older. So
Yeah,
for
it's a,
example, one of the ways you can identify what type of parenting you received is like, what happens to you when you make a mistake? Do you punish yourself? Do you tell yourself you're no good? Do you say, it's okay, try again? How do you speak to yourself when you've made a mistake? That'll give you an idea of what your parenting is and where your wounds could be.
right. So the way, so I guess this has an impact on us through all our lives. Then how we have been parented is how we behave through the rest of our lives, and also how we parent our children.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that. So, for example, if you received very critical parenting and your parent was very firm, then that child gets more self esteem issues. That
Yes.
child gets deflated more easily. They have worthiness issues. So, being very strict and very firm and very critical has that negative consequence.
Yes. It's that
How,
very famous.
on the
Is that
other flip side of it, say a parent is very permissive, say a parent is very like liberated, okay?
Mhm.
Let's a child do whatever the child wants. That child can get an inflated ego. That child can become very rebellious. So, how we parent, so both of them have their own consequence. So, the way to parent is to be firm and loving.
that's
And
wonderful.
actually, and actually, that I invite you to consider, you have no idea what that is. Because I have found when I inquire with clients what is being firm and loving, it actually requires some thinking. Oh, in this situation, the firm and loving thing to do, or the firm and loving thing to say, it's something that needs to be inquired right then. And the way to treat children, ourselves, others, spouse, colleague, anyone is to be firm and loving.
That's really a very beautiful phrase to keep in mind, to be firm and loving. It's not easy. One is either very loving or one is very firm. So it's good to have that, to remember. So thank you for that. So the next question for this would be, what are the tips that you could give us to be more conscious parents or more mindful parents?
Okay, so I had to think about this, right? So I think to be, the first thing to do is do your inner work. Know your wounds, know your family. You know what don't work. Don't do that stuff again. And don't justify that, oh, it was done before and so it's this way. Things have been done before that did not work, and they actually didn't work with you. So don't repeat the stuff that didn't work with you. Have the courage to not repeat it and not to justify your ancestry. So I think tips, some tips I'm going to give from, it's more like from working with people that I'm going to give you some tips. Okay. So for kids, words aligning with actions, it goes a whole long way. It goes a whole long way.
What we
Another
say.
thing I Another thing I would advise is at all costs, protect your child from violence and abuse. Just take them out of the space. If someone is being in a way that's not good, remove the child. Because later, when I work with adults, I see the impact of these things. It's better to remove the child from the space than have them be exposed to that behavior, because that is the start of maybe them learning an abusive behavior. You don't know what you're planting.
Yes. That's
And
easy.
do not equate worthiness with performance. That's another issue I see happening, especially when I work with teenagers, that their confidence starts to become attached at a young age to their performance. Worthiness has nothing to do with performance. Worthiness is your divine right because you are unique. You are God's gift to this earth. There's only one of you, and that is your worthiness. And that has nothing to do with a grade. And that seems to get collapsed sometimes. So I think that's a tip for the parents to be mindful of, not to have worthiness be equated with their performance. Other common mistakes that I think parents make are asking children to keep secrets. It goes back to the same thing I was pointing to in womb healing. Secrets create shame. don't ask a child to keep secrets. Ask an adult to keep a secret. I hope they do, but ask the adult to keep it. Don't ask the child. That's not for the child to carry.
Sure.
Um, another,
Can I interrupt, Sushma?
yes,
Do you speak
yes.
Hindi or no?
Sorry.
Do you speak Hindi?
Uh, I
Not so
wouldn't
much.
say I speak it well.
Okay. Because many of your viewers, I've heard, they want something to be said in Hindi so that they can grasp better. But
Yeah.
anyhow, it's not so important anymore.
Okay.
We'll try to do some Hindi mix up later on.
Okay.
And we
Great.
are trying to sum up the whole thing after Urvashi finishes. We'll try to recap. And I'll try to recap in Hindi with you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Urvashi, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. Please continue with the common mistakes
So there
that.
were a few more mistakes. Another mistake I noticed that I'm coming in to heal is like some sort of manipulation in the family system that occurs because of a dividing and ruling parent. So dividing and ruling is not a good thing to do in a household. Because you see, in a family system, you've got to give your child base. And there's got to be a fair use of power because they're going to learn from you. So if you're going to manipulate the child, you're going to teach them manipulation. And in 20 years, they're going to use it on you. So
Yes.
don't do it. And don't divide and rule because I've seen in family constellations, it requires a lot of healing.
Could you explain the term divide and rule in a family situation?
It's uh like having teams inside
Yeah, so
and
basically,
then having the teams like dividing and ruling.
husband and wife are not on the same team. That's what
They
it becomes.
are, but we don't divide and rule. Because you see, you cannot take the autonomy and the independence away from the child. What are you teaching the child?
If you're
The
taking it,
child's got to. So, and how do I explain the a little bit deeper?
I mean, this divide
A
and rule.
child ends up experiencing themselves as an outsider. So then that has to get reintegrated. So whatever you're going to do, be mindful. That is conscious parenting because they're going to copy you. Especially the stuff you think they're not going to copy, they're going to copy exactly that because they're
Absolutely,
very observant.
very much. So
So,
does
and
it?
another thing, I have two more points here. So, another point, another common mistake parents make is not listening to your child when they're telling you what they need and thinking you know better. When a child tells you what they need, we must reinforce that because knowing what you need is already good. Then, if you can communicate what you need, relationships will become easier in life. So, we must listen to people when they tell us what they need because only they know what they need. We don't know better. And then we can choose, right? If we fulfill the need or not. But when someone tells you what they need, listen.
Sure.
And
Yes.
finally, hitting a child to discipline them is a no. I know that sometimes even a parent is, frustrated or sometimes encouraged when something goes too far by elders, by tradition, by just advice, friendly advice. I advise you don't do it because the effect on the psyche is so deep and so damaging that it's not worth it.
Thank you. Thank you for these tips. Any other So, how do you do this conscious parenting with parents? Do you have regular workshops or sessions over a period of time?
So, this is conscious parenting is a title for inner child work. A lot of breakdown happens because our inner child is not integrated or understood. So, see, conscious parenting is like a term to explain how we handle children. But actually, children are not only inside, outside, children are inside us also,
Yes,
unhealed, not grown up. Today we call it adulting. So there's many different ways to touch on this type of work, but basically the important thing to understand is that between 0 to 8, all the belief system of every human being are set. So, as a parent, you have a very active role in the belief systems that are going to program your child and your child's life. And as an adult, you have access to going back and also reprogramming things that didn't work for you. So, both ways it works.
sure.
So, being conscious is really taking back your power and understanding that what I do and if I do the inner work or not, it affects what I create.
Absolutely. That inner work is central to
Yes.
being a better spouse, being a better parent, being a better
Yeah,
human being.
exactly.
Yeah,
And if you do the inner work, then your child realizes that outer and inner go together. Because if
yes,
I just if there's one thing I could say to support the youth of the future is to emphasize to them outer is not more important than inner. It's inner first, and then inner creates outer. That's the first thing. And the second thing is meditation is medicine because meditation allows you to still the mind and open your funnel so you can connect with super consciousness and bring down that resource and that energy for yourself fuel. So meditation is key. And because after 20 healing modalities, I can tell you, when I mix them with meditation, meditation is the glue that binds.
wonderful. So you've given us two tips on how to best support the children today and in the future. Any more tips, especially because of
आज
this age?
मजा आ गया है ना.
Yeah,
हाँ,
yeah. Could go on and
Urvashi,
on. It's very
आज
interesting.
मजा आ गया ना. Today has
Absolutely.
been very educational. I'm impressed,
Very.
very impressed. I think you're guru material, Sushma.
Oh, good.
You
You
have
think I'm
spoken like
guru material?
you have spoken like Junior Osho.
You know
I
what?
didn't realize meeting
I'm
you.
just
You
a
have so much
healer.
depth of knowledge.
I
I'm really impressed today, and
thank
I
you.
enjoyed
You know
talking
what?
to
I
you
do
and
want to
listening.
say something is that, I'm a healer from I what I understand is that I'm a wounded healer. What does that mean?
Hmm.
It means I became a healer from healing my own wounds.
Hmm.
So it's like the place from which I can give healing, it's a very raw place. It's a very empathetic place. It's a place from really understanding what it feels like. So I've had a very interesting life journey. And because of
Yeah.
that, I can deliver the work.
I think you have found your key to life, in my opinion. You have found your destination and you have found your road as well. So I think if you,
That comes from being womb centered.
yeah, so you've done well.
Can you see I'm
I'm
womb
very
centered?
happy. I'm very happy to have you on our show. And see, in life, there are so many new inventions and innovations for lifestyle changes and cure therapy. So yours one contribution to cure therapy and get people back on their feet in joy and happiness. And that itself is a very noble deed. a noble thing that anybody can aspire for.
To
So with
allow
that,
a human being to realize that they are a phoenix and they
exactly,
can repeatedly be a phoenix is great power.
correct. Now we'll talk about meditation next time. My favorite subject is breathing techniques and meditation because meditation hardly anybody understands. So anyway, we'll have that show later on. But today I would really like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And really, it was really a pleasure to have you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Uncle, for giving a voice to this very
I
important,
think all
powerful
the
point
people
of
who
access.
will be hearing you today, I'm sure they will have a lot of benefit if they understand and hear your words sincerely and seriously. I'm sure they'll benefit. And I'm sure they'll be able to contact you and you can, you know, be able to cure more people and bring them back to life. That's what we need, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Urvashi, you want to end the show with a small prayer for
Yes, sure.
Shushma and for all our viewers and also for me?
Yes, absolutely, Dada. So
Okay,
thank you,
please
Sushma.
go ahead.
Thank you, all the viewers. We will end with a short Sanskrit mantra prayer. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु
Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Okay,
Ram. Jai
Urvashi,
Shri
thank you so much for the
Thank
love.
you.
Thank
It
you.
is
Thank you
always a
so
pleasure to
much.
see you again and again. And hopefully, we'll meet you in India during my next visit.
Absolutely.
And,
Sushma, thank you again.
probably
Thank
we'll
you so
invite
much.
Krishna to come there also.
Would
So,
love
see
Yeah,
that.
I would love
you
to.
after the
We love
show
on
tomorrow.
meditation.
Probably
We'd
we'll
love
talk tomorrow.
some of your workshops in Bombay. Please come.
Wonderful. I look forward to
Yeah,
it.
you can arrange a workshop for her, right? But she's
Absolutely.
done a lot of studies in Pune, so it's good for her. She feels at home in India, right?
I do. I
Amazing.
love it. Yeah. I got
You
a
Okay,
must.
lot from India.
ठीक है.
Sorry?
I received a lot from India. I've spent a lot of time in India.
Wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Please come back and help. Yeah, help all the women here.
I forgot to tell you, she knows about tarot, and we were supposed to get a demonstration from her. But I
Oh,
think
I
next time we'll try to do something on the tarot. What is it?
I can also do a session on tarot. Like tarot has its own, tarot is
Yeah,
like
so we can do a
built
session
with
like
its
that
own
next time.
understanding.
So
Yeah.
you can arrange a session on tarot plus one more subject that people will find interesting. So
Great. I look
probably
forward
in
to it.
July you try to prepare, and we'll have one session in July, because I have another doctor called Dr. Suresh Dagur. He's a specialist in body talk, so he will be talking similar things like cognitive therapy and all those things, but by touch and heal. So that's a very interesting show also. Many innovative therapies have come, like ozone therapy, nitric oxide therapy to cleanse the system. So I'm going to talk all about that in the next. I'm going to have sessions talking on that from important doctors. And one another show that I'm planning to have is about genetics and genetic dispositions and how it affects our life. So we have a specialist on that also. So we'll get together and let our family become bigger and more professional so we can help more people. Okay, Sushma, you did a great job, and
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy to see you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share.
Okay, Urvashi, we go now. Bye.
Jai
Hari
Jhulelal.
Om.
Hari Om.